Alright guys, welcome back to another one of my board game reviews. I'm really excited to bring you guys a review on the Woodestic Crokinole table. Now, I've never actually played Crokinole before. I heard a lot about it, a lot of people raving how it's like the best game ever, best dexterity game you could play. It should be in everyone's collection, all this stuff. A lot of makers out there making their own versions of their, the table and stuff like that. And it's just all over the place as far as everyone raving about this game. It's top 100 on BGG. I finally decided to dive in when this company reached out to me, Woodestic, and said, hey, would you like to check out one of our boards for Crokinole? And they're basically a top tier, premium set for Crokinole boards. And I was like, you know what? I think it's finally time for me to dive into this. So I took the plunge and I got a discount from them to actually get this board. And it was still really expensive, but I got a good discount from them. And I was excited to get this in, and I got this in, and I have played it. And I do have some thoughts about Crokinole, if I agree with everyone on BGG. And I do have some thoughts about this board as well. But before we get into my thoughts about Crokinole and the actual board itself, I want to give you guys an overview on the board and show you guys how Crokinole's played. Because I'm sure a lot of you guys have never, you may have heard of it but never seen it played. Or you may not have heard of it or don't even know how it gets played. So I'm going to show you a quick overview of how the game is actually played. And then we'll come back to the table and I'll give you guys my overall thoughts on the board and the game of Crokinole. Let's go ahead and do it.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a recce is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, so here's the Crokinole board that I just received from the company. So, I want to start off with all the accessories this thing came with. You can get a lot of accessories with this board. And I did get a lot of accessories. So, let's talk about this right here. We got the gliss powder, which we'll talk about using that in a little bit. It comes with a nice little scoring sheet with a lot of pieces of paper, which is cool. It even comes with this kit here if you want to add some wax to the board, and tells you how to use it. It comes with an extra set of gliss powder for refills. It even comes with a little hanger there if you want to hang this up on your wall. It comes with the screw that you need. It comes with this nice little fancy board, which we'll talk about what it's for when we go through the gameplay demo, but this is cool. It comes as an optional accessory. It even comes with a pen from the company to when you're writing down the score, so that's cool. And then it comes with these little bags for all the chips, as you can see there. These little bags are all nicely color-coded with a little sticky there on the side, or a little piece of paper that's tied onto there. So we got yellow ones, and then the red ones, and then of course I have the green ones out and the blue ones over here, and then the other two little bags for the blue and green are sitting over here. It even comes with an extra set of 2 for each, just in case you lose one or damage one or whatever the case may be. You get extra ones for all of them. And then they actually went through the extra time to actually print a rulebook out for you, how to actually play the game, which is really cool. And they even did a tutorial on YouTube, so they went all out as far as giving you the nicest board that you can actually have with this thing. Alright, so let's talk about a little bit of how the actual game plays. So, the game is technically a 1v1. There are some variants that you can actually play where it's 2v2 for team play, where there's one where you sit across from your you can sit across from your teammate, or however you want to rearrange yourselves, and you could do 2 people on each team. You can also do a 4-player variant where everyone's like a free-for-all, and a 3-player variant. So there are variants, but the official way to play this is 1v1 against one opponent sitting over there and one opponent sitting where I'm sitting over here. And you can see on the board is that each one of these is divided into quadrants, and this is where your opponent would sit and where they'd be shooting from. So in a 2-player game, you got this side over here, which is a quadrant, and then of course if you're playing a 2-player game, you would use the opposite of that one and the quadrant over here to actually take your disc. And then in a 4-player one, obviously you would start using those 2 over there. So basically you have a set of discs. They look like this, and you have each person has 12. In a 2-player game, you have 12 each. In a 4-player game, you split 6. So you still have the same set of colors, and you split 6 each. And what you do is, in the game, you start off the game, let's say I was the first person to go. You have to actually use the line over here, the back line on the board. This is where you actually have to shoot from. So, basically, and like I said, it has to be in your quadrant. So, you take your disc, your first disc, and you're shooting anywhere you want on this back. So I can go over here, I can go over here, I can even go halfway on the other line and halfway on this line. That's a valid shot as well. If there's no one else on the board, your opponent's not on the board like there is right now, then basically what would happen is I would take a free shot and I had to try and get it in the center. Of course, that's going to be the worth the most amount of points. But at the bare minimum, it needs to be either in this circle here or touching the outside white line in some way. If that doesn't happen when there's no other pieces on the board, then you automatically lose that piece and it goes to the outskirts over here, which is this whole barrier, and it just doesn't, you don't get any points with that one specific one. So this is my first shot. So that's a valid shot. I almost got it in the center. It stays there. Now it would be my opponent's turn. In my opponent's turn, let's pretend that my opponent was on the opposite side just for me to easily more show you this. Let's say that they took that shot before and landed there and it was my turn. So now, since there's an opponent on the board, I can't aim for the center directly. What I need to do is I need to hit the other opponent first. So I can take a shot from over here and try to aim towards them. As, like I said, as long as you actually get the shot and you hit them first, it is a valid shot. And that can be, you can, if there was another one of mine sitting right here and I took a shot and it ricocheted this one to move this one and then hit this one, that is a valid shot. Of course, as you get more skillful, what you're trying to do with it is you take a shot like this. Let's see how well I can do this. And you're trying to knock them out, but also you want to stay in the center as well, as good as possible. So that is perfect. I knocked them out of the way. I'm literally halfway into that cup, almost got it into the center, and I hit them and was able to stay there. So that is also a valid shot because I was able to hit them. So let's say it was back to my turn. I'm the blue team. And let's say it was back to my turn and that green opponent is sitting there. So now I can't aim for the center again. I have to knock them out. So I'm going to go for them and knock them off the board as much as I can. So that would be a valid shot. Let's say green goes and they put theirs over there. And now it's back to my turn. And again, I can aim. Now there's two pieces on the board. I could obviously aim for either one that I actually want to aim for. Whichever one I want. I'm going to aim for that one because it looks like it's an easier shot. So I aim for that. I took both of us off the board. That's fine. And then you kind of do that back and forth. Is if anybody ends their turn with one of their shots and the thing is on this outside white line, that basically is the same thing as being out. So you just knock that off and that's basically out. If you would actually hit one in the center, if I actually took one of these and let's just do it for the sake of, and it actually nailed in there, you take it out immediately because obviously you need to leave that opening for other people when they shoot. So, and that's what the cup is for that we were talking about before. You put the ones that are 20 points into there, or you can use any suitable cup replacement. Obviously, it doesn't have to be this wooden fancy one, but you put it in there, and then you continue going on. And you basically do this going back and forth. And the points are as follows. The middle over here, the first quadrant is worth 5 points. The second circle here is worth 10 points. This in the center is worth 15, and the center itself is worth 20. So, and if you're sitting on an outside line like this, and that piece is touching any part of that line, it actually goes to the lesser points. So it wouldn't be in the center. It would actually, since it's touching the white line, move back when you're doing the scoring. And then you just do the scoring. If this was the scoring right here, let's say that this was the exact scoring that I had. I had a piece here, I had another piece here, and a piece in the center, and another piece over here. So you could do it really easily. Instead of counting each individually point by point, a lot of people just do the variant of just not canceling each other out. Obviously, you end up with the same amount of points, so that's probably the easiest way. So mine here is at the 5. My opponent's is also at the 5. So they both knock each other out. This one here, they're both in the same quadrant. They knock each other out. I'm left with these two. Like I said, this is sitting on the white line. So this moves back a little bit to this one. And then this one gets scored, so that's 15 plus 10. So you get 25 points for that round. And that would be my score. Now, if my opponent did have a piece left here where they didn't cancel out, and this was like this, then, well, actually, if you didn't cancel it out and my opponent actually had one here, and what you would do in a situation like this, if they had negative points with you, is you would add up my score. So let's say this was the 25, and then you would subtract whatever was left from them. So if they scored 15 points for being in the center, and you scored 25, 25 minus 15 is what you would score for that round, and you mark it on your sheet. And you do this basically until you get to 100 points. Whoever gets to 100 points first is the person who wins. And that's basically the gist of this. And this powder stuff that they give you is really good because it's basically this little white powder that you put a little bit on. You put it on the disc, just like this, just a little bit on the disc. just to give it that more smooth glide, and it really does make it a lot smoother to hit the actual flicking the disc, and it just feels so good to flick these things on the board, especially with that gliss. It just feels utterly smooth, like you're literally rolling ice on the table. That was a terrible shot, and so was that. But you get the idea. And something I forgot to mention as well, it's really interesting as well. If it was my turn, right, and let's say I had this just like this, and it was my turn right now, and obviously I have to hit the green person first, like I said, I can't directly aim for the center. Let's say I decided to try and ricochet mine into hers from here. But let's say I do this instead. Obviously, I didn't hit hers, but I hit mine at the same time. Unfortunately, you not only lose the disc of this one because you didn't hit your opponent, but any other one that you touch that's yours also gets discarded as well. So now you gave your opponent that look, and now there's no dice, no disc on the board for you. So your opponent's gonna have a free shot to go for the center again because obviously there's no other blue things on the board. So that's one of the other rules that makes it really interesting. Like I said, you do this back and forth. You're trying to get to 100 points, and the quality of this board is just outstanding as far as the gliding. Like I said, it just feels really nice gliding these things around. And there's a center one for you of hitting these boards around. And the game is a lot of fun to play. The board is really nice, but we don't need to talk about this while we're sitting at the table here like this. I just wanted to give you guys an overview of how the game is actually played. So you, like I said, you count up your points. Don't forget the points that are sitting in here. And you get up to 100 points, and then you count the winner. Like I said, there are some variants online that you could play with either 3 or 4 players as well. So a lot of fun ways to play. So let's go ahead and get to the table now to my review face-to-face. And I'm going to talk about the quality of this board, what I think about it, what I think of Crokinole in general, and let's get to it. All right, guys, so that was a quick overview on how you actually play Crokinole. And I've been hearing about this game for a long time. A lot of people saying it's one of the best games you can ever play. And I'm a big fan of dexterity games, so I always just put it off, and I was like, the board's expensive. I don't even know if it's going to be actually as good as everyone says it is. All those kinds of things always rang through my head, so I obviously put it off and never got one. And along came this company. They looked at my channel, and they were like, we can offer you a discount to get this board, to do a review for us and stuff like that. Check out the board. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I got to dive in and take a look at this. So I went with that. I got a discount on this board. Just so you guys know, these boards are expensive. They are made out of quality, though. Like this board here, it weighs a pretty good amount as far as how much this thing weighs. It's obviously huge, as you guys saw on the table and everything, but it's made really, really well. You can see it's made of like really solid wood. It's just built really well. How smooth all this wood is done, and has the branding there on the top from the brand there on the top from Woodestic, and they just did a phenomenal job as far as the craftsmanship of this thing, and I'm really, really happy with how this thing turned out. And just the finish and the smoothness, as you guys saw the disc gliding and stuff, they just feel so smooth. Obviously the glitter, the powder, the gliss powder that they provide here definitely adds to it, and I definitely recommend people use this when they play it because it makes the disc that much smoother with these things. But it's just phenomenal as far as how much fun it is to just slide those discs in a game like this. And like I said, I came into this completely blind. I had no idea what this game was. I never knew what the rules were. I literally read these instructions, and I'm glad that these instructions came with it. Their video is really well made as well. If you guys want to just visualize it for yourself, it's really, really good how they did the video. And when I watched the video, I was like, oh, this is fun. I got my wife. We started playing, and we went back and forth. And we just had a hell of a lot of time, a good time playing this game. Like I said, it's just one of those addicting games that you're going to put out on the table when people come over, and they're going to keep playing it all night, and they're not going to want to get off the table. And you're going to turn this into tournament, and you're going to be, you're going to have tournaments all day about this with your house, at your house, and it's just going to be a lot of fun because it's a really simple game to play, a really simple concept. It literally takes like 2 minutes to explain to people, and then they're off and running, and there's just nothing to how to play the game. But it's going to take me forever to master. Like, I just played a few games of this on the board, and it's taken me a while to even grasp the idea of, like, all the curve shots you can make, how to hit someone who's behind one of the poles that are in the way, all those different things really change the game, and every game is different. And I haven't even tried the 4-player version. I only played it with 2 players, and I'm excited to try one day when I have 4 people here to do the 4 and the 3-player variant as well. As far as the actual game goes, like I said, I love Crokinole. Everyone who says it was as good as it is, it being on the top 100 on the BGG website, is exactly what it deserves. Like I'm going to be playing this game forever. Now that I own this board, this is going to live in my collection basically forever. My kids are going to play it one day. You know, I'm going to share it with as many friends and family as I can. This is going to be a riot when people come over, and it's going to be a great game to play with people and just have tournaments with people. So I'm excited to show other people this game as well. As far as the actual board itself and the company itself, Woodestic, who did this board for me, like I said, you can get a board for, I believe it's 200 and change, like in the 250, 260 range. They have different tiers. You can get like the bronze one, the silver one, and the gold one. The silver edition is what I got, and all that determines is the accessories that it comes with. So if you just want the plain board and you want nothing else, that's a possibility you can do. You can even get the board customized with a logo on top of it or something like that, which is pretty cool. But I decided to go for the plain look because I just wanted the simplistic look. I didn't want a picture on top of it distracting people while they're flipping discs. So I just went with the natural grain wood look, which I thought was just better for this game. But it's an option if you want it. And like I said, you can get accessories if you want. I got the silver edition, which is the middle of the road. The gold one being obviously the higher tier. You can see the accessories I got with the silver edition, which ended up being €309 at full price. Like I said, I did get a discount from them. Nice of them to actually reach out to me and let me have that. But it's €309, and then of course you got to pay for shipping, which is about $70 depending on where you are. So obviously the game is expensive. But they do, like I said, the craftsmanship is amazing, and the accessories that they give you were really, really good. The craftsmanship, even on this wooden bowl, like it may be a simple thing, but they did a great job with this as well. The bags that they came with are really cool. They're embroidered with their logo on it, and it's a nice little touch that they put a little little thing sticky, or it's not a sticky. It's like a little piece of paper that's hammered on there, so you put the colors of the ones that go into each bag. Then they did the scoreboard thing, which has the Crokinole logo, the Crokinole game on the top. So they just give you a lot of little accessories that you're not going to get from other places. You know, I showed the extra gliss that you actually get with it and stuff. They even give you extra of these if you lose them or break them or whatever the case may be. They give you 2 of each color. So they definitely go all out as far as the extras go. If you choose to actually get them. If you just want the board, it's an option. The board will come with the instructions, of course, and you can just go that route if you want. But as far as overall satisfaction with the board itself, I'm completely 100% satisfied, completely blown away with how nice the board is, how perfect condition it is. These things coming in the mail in a box, coming from another country, you're always worried about, UPS handling and stuff like that. It was packaged well, and like I said, the craftsmanship is 100% perfect on the actual board. There's no like dings or cracks or anything. It's like you guys saw the board in the video. It's literally perfect. If I had one small complaint, even though it doesn't bother me at all, but I'm just going to mention it just so you guys know everything about the board. These wooden pieces that are painted, they're all painted different colors. Those are the only ones that are not 100% perfect. Some of them have like a different shade of blue, for example, than other blues. Where one might be slightly darker than the other, but that's just the nature of the wood that they're using in the paint when things aren't 100% the same. But that doesn't bother me that much at all. You could tell these are all blue regardless, and you could tell they're all yellow. You could tell they're all green. But just a small little thing to point out. But guys, call me a Crokinole lover now. This game is absolutely fun. Anybody who has the investment to actually get into one of these boards, go ahead and do it. You don't have to get this one. This is obviously top tier quality. If you want to just get into Crokinole yourself, you can go on Amazon. You can get one from, I believe, was it Mayday Games? Or I'm trying to think. There was another board game company that made one of these boards. I'll link it in the video below. Of course, I'm going to link this one as well if you guys want the top tier one with all these bonus accessories, so you're not going to be able to get anywhere else. And the craftsmanship of this one, if you want top tier quality, I'm obviously going to link it down below. This is the one to get if you want the best quality. Because if you get cheap boards, you're going to get what you pay for. The glide on this one, when you're gliding those discs, are 100% perfect, and it feels so good, and it looks really good. And you could tell the quality that went into this. Because it's got to be primed, it's got to be sanded down, it's got to be perfect, because you're gliding discs on it. There are other companies that make boards like this, but you're going to tell a difference in quality. And like I said, there is one that's good for the price. I believe it's like $100 or $150 that you can pay for. And it's coming straight from Amazon. I'm almost positive. But like I said, I'll leave that one down below as well. And you could get that one if you wanted to. Obviously, there's going to be differences in it, and it's not going to be as good. But if you're just trying to get into it and get something cheaper, that is also an available option for you as well. But Guys, really impressed, like I said, with the board. Really impressed with the game. I'm going to be playing this one for ages. And I hope I entitled some of you guys to go ahead and check this game out. Whether you play it at a friend's house, you get a cheap board just to see what it's like, or you go all out like I did and get this board and now have it a piece of your collection that your friends are going to be drooling over every time they come over and probably want their own as soon as they're done playing. Guys, that is my review of the Woodestic board and Crokinole the game. If you guys have any questions about anything you guys have seen here today, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Till next time.
Tech, UrGamingTechie is the gaming tech, UrGamingTechie, gaming tech. Eating brekkie is the gaming tech, going for a recce is the gaming tech, UrGamingTechie is the gaming tech, UrGamingTechie.